Yeah. It's your boy 4 a.m. You know what I'm saying? The humble, the dirt. Feel me? I'm from Memphis, Tennessee. You know what I'm saying? I'm tapped in
Hey
with the
Pierre,
sports.
go crazy.
So, 4 a.m. How'd you come up with your name?
Really, like I said, I'm from Memphis. So at first, I was going by Little Memphis. But I ain't give myself that name. I had ended up moving to New Jersey when I was like 16 type shit. I went to school like that for like 2 years. I did 11th and 12th grade, I think. I first got there. To them, I'm like an alien or some shit. Like they like, what the hell in the country, the motherfucker. Like when I started talking and shit, they like, what the fuck? Like say they like asking me to repeat shit. So like them niggas started calling me like Memphis and shit. Like okay, like niggas ask me where I'm from. Like I'm from Memphis. They just started calling me Memphis. Then I started rapping. Like my 12th grade year, like the end of the year type shit last semester. I started fucking with it, but it was like a little hobby. I wasn't really trying to take it serious. Or I just was just doing this shit just to, it was natural. Cause I'm musically inclined. Like my mama sing, my sister sing, my daddy played the organ. I grew up playing the drums in church and shit like that. So that shit just been in me since I was like a baby type shit.
So you feel like, like you were born in Memphis and raised in Memphis?
Nah, I was actually born in New Jersey. I just wasn't raised
right.
there. I was born in Willenburg, New Jersey. And like I had ended up moving to Memphis like right after I was born. I just grew up there, like grew up in Arkansas too. Like, I did a lot of back and forth from Memphis, Arkansas. That shit right across the bridge, like 15, 20 minutes away.
Right. So you feel like, is your music influenced more by Memphis, even though you started rapping in New Jersey?
I wouldn't say that. Mm-hmm. I'd say my shit. Really, I guess from like me living in so many different little areas and cultures and shit and just witnessing how other niggas do shit or how they sound or how they music sound. Like, I feel like I just mixed all that shit together. Like, even when I moved here, like, I wasn't always rapping the way I rap. You know what I'm saying?
Because like listening to your sound, it really doesn't. You can't like pinpoint. You know what I mean? It sounds really unique, but you could tell like it's a blend. You know what I mean? So, like you started out in New Jersey, like so there wasn't like. Did any of that have to do with like the music you were listening to? Was like had an influence on your sound more than like the city you grew up in?
Facts. That's fact. I see that.
So like, who were some artists that were, big influence on your sound?
PNB Rock. He from Philly. I was in New Jersey. That shit right there. Philly, Jersey, all that shit like 15, 20, 35 minutes away type shit. So I say PNB Rock for sure. Lucci. I was fucking with A Boogie for a little while.
So you was big on the East Coast. Like, yeah, I feel you.
Really, a lot of people wrote Chris Brown, Jacquees, a lot of people, Michael Jackson.
Yeah, no, that's really some interesting inspirations. I honestly don't hear that much often. Honestly, like you hear a lot of people nowadays. The influence are usually like Thug, Future, you know what I'm saying, like Gunna and all them. So it is interesting.
And I was listening to Thug and Future though, for sure.
So do you feel like that just doesn't fit in with your style of music? Like that style just didn't fit in with you?
I wouldn't necessarily. I wouldn't say that. Cause them niggas got vibes and shit too. Like Future shit, a vibe. He got vibes, rap shit. Like they artists. Thug, he got vibes, rap shit. Like I feel like you take all that shit is really just everything is inspiration. Like everybody really take from each other. Like you take what you like and just add it to your shit. Like, but don't just take a nigga shit and just put it in a strong. You know what I'm saying? Like dig and dab. Like take a little bit and okay. Like I like that. I like the little.
So you didn't get much into like the lyricists on the East Coast. Like you didn't get into like Joey or like Joey Badass in New York. Like
I ain't really. I fuck with vibes, bro, and just real music, real situations, and I don't get too deep in it on the lyrics side, like listening to it. Why? But I respect it, shit like that. Like, I don't put nobody down for listening to shit like that. I fuck with it.
So where do you think you got like your most support from? Because you know you from all these different areas. I mean, like not from all these different areas, but you
Right.
know you live.
I didn't grew up in different areas.
So like, where do you think you got your most support from?
I ain't gonna lie.
Could it be here? You know what I'm saying? New Orleans.
I'd probably say probably New Jersey.
New Jersey.
Like, cause I that's why I started like doing this shit. Like, and they seen like the whole process of the shit. Like when I first started, like I done been, you know what I'm saying? Like I done been laughed at, like shit didn't sound right. Like I knew it didn't sound right. You feel me? Like all kind of shit. Like so they done seen like the whole
like the phase.
Yeah, like the whole like just different phase. Like that. I ended up moving to New Orleans, but like that's a whole another conversation. You know what I'm saying?
What was the music scene like up there? You know what I'm saying? Cause
in New Jersey.
Yeah, because I mean, like you know, down here it's starting to get a buzz down here. You know what I'm saying? The people starting to support the young artists and shit like that. But what's the music scene like up there?
At that time, or just now? Period. Like
you could say at that time.
Really, I think that's why I said Penny Rock, cause like everybody was fucking with him. Like so, I'm out there. I can only adapt to like what's going on. Like yeah, I'm from Memphis and shit, but like I'm out there. That's where I'm at. Like at the time, so that's what I'm seeing like every day. Like motherfucker, I'm walking down the street, nigga bumping Penny Rock. Like I'm like, what the fuck you hearing this nigga shit like? So I eventually just tapped in. Like I'm like, man, this nigga shit hard.
Was it like a big culture change coming from Memphis going to New Jersey? I'm about to say, I know it's got to be different.
Yeah, I ain't like this shit. When I first came, I ain't like that shit. Then I was by myself. I'm just like, this shit ain't it. Like, that shit was weird to me. That shit was just like, what the fuck? It was like a whole culture shock. Like for me and them, really, because I just the way I act, just everything I carry myself, like. Them niggas don't. You have a select few niggas who chill and shit, but like you know from different areas. But them niggas.
Do you think the difference in culture made it like more difficult to like kind of like put your foot in the music scene now, like because of like the differences?
I don't know. I would say that.
Like just say like how are you going about like entering the scene? Like I know like was it just mainly like friends, or were you doing like shows or?
Hell nah. For my friends, they found out I could like sing or whatever. So after they kind of found that out, them niggas was like begging me to do this shit. Like, bro, you gotta do it, bro. You gotta use your voice. Like, you know what I mean? Niggas wish they could, you know what I'm saying? Carry a note or like just harmonize or whatever. Like, do a melody. Like, you gotta use this shit. Like, so I ain't that shit was gonna do going out there. Like, I'm like, whatever. Like, I ain't trying to. I don't really want to do that shit for real. I don't know why I ain't want to do it. I really don't know why I didn't want to do it. I just didn't want to do it. Like
you just didn't want to be a rapper, or you just it felt weird using your voice. You know what I mean?
I guess a little bit of both. Like a little bit of both. Then worry about what niggas gonna think of the shit, and you see how these other rappers get that negative attention. It's just a whole bunch of shit be going through nigga before they really step in this shit.
Yeah, I'm about to say. So like, were you one of those kind of people that like, so you can, you know, like they got the type of artist that just like. From birth, like they kind of like always in this, like they was always that kid that was, you know, the mama was always, they was singing in front of the camera and shit. In the family pictures, they was always the wildest one. Were you that kid, or did you have to build into being the artist that we see today?
The second one, I had to build into this shit.
Like you had to get comfortable in it.
Facts.
So how'd you go about like getting that confidence? Was it just like, was it your first show that kind of gave you that confidence, or your song? A certain
like
song.
To make me like be like,
yeah, like you could do this shit. You know what I'm saying?
It really wasn't even none of that for real. Really, because the situation I was in, like I was homeless. Like I had got kicked out and shit after I graduated high school in 2016. Probably like 3 months after I graduated, I had got kicked out. I got into it with my pops and shit. So, you know, I'm going through that shit, and like as I was going through it, I just like that was. I felt like there was a time like I had, you know. I'm a Christian. I grew up in church, so I've been who God was. I prayed, been big on it. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like I really like that made me really tap into like just like, all right, who am I? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like what I want to do. Like you know, I feel like that shit kind of forced me. Like, oh shit, I gotta do this music shit. Like this, like that. Like I said earlier, I ain't never played basketball. I did that shit when I was a kid, but like I just knew that wasn't it. Like. Whatever I'm gonna do in life, I knew like, nah, And I been that. I know you know shit as a kid.
Yeah.
Like certain little things, like nah, I don't know if I'm gonna do that.
Right.
You feel me? But like I feel like with that situation, it kind of made me like damn, I gotta do this shit. Like I gotta do it for real.
So like even right now, like are you 100% music? Cause like you know what I'm saying. I feel like rappers and shit. Everybody nowadays, like everybody got a side hustle. You know what I'm saying? Like shit, Nino was shooting his own videos. Shit, all types of rappers shooting their own videos.
Right.
Or like involved in crypto, NFTs, like anything. Is this anything you doing outside of music? You know what I'm saying? Like that you also putting time in?
I dibble in the little acting here and there, shit like that. I'm trying to get into that, but I feel like I'm so focused on music right now. Like I feel like I'll fully tap into it when I have time to do it.
And shit, yeah, I feel you on that because music is one of them things where it's like, you know, you gotta be 100% in the craft. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, same with us, you know, with videos and shit like that.
They gotta be 100% focused.
Yeah, you gotta be focused on it. Or you gonna lag behind. So I mean, what do you see for him in 5 years?
Shit, really, whatever God want me to be. I don't know. I can't tell the future. I don't fuck. But yeah, whatever God want me to be, bro. I know I'm gonna be where I know I'm gonna be where I want to be, but I know it's God's plan. Like I'm just here.
So let's move more towards the music. I mean, because you know, obviously, like you say, 100% on music. So like kind of just talk about your music. Talk about some of the elements that makes up your music. Like what aspects of your voice do you use? Like, cause obviously, you know what I'm saying. Your singing voice and your rapping voice are different than your speaking voice.
Right.
So like. Talk about like how intentional that is, or what's the reason behind that, or you know what I mean? It's just
like do I do that on purpose?
Yeah, like is it on purpose?
No. Hell no. They just like when motherfuckers like y'all watch y'all ever heard this show called Snowfall?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess like I can't really use that because they doing it on purpose. Like they
talking. Oh, you talking about
when them niggas acting and shit?
The British dude.
Yeah,
he's British in real life.
Right.
You know
so I can't. That was a bad comparison. Fuck that. We gonna move on from this. That was a bad comparison. But yeah, bro, I don't do it on purpose. That's just I don't know. That's what I said, bro. I've been know how to sing since I was a kid, though. Like just carry little notes and shit. But really, my sister is like the singer. Like she was like the person growing up, and I feel like that was really what was holding me back from being an artist myself. Cause I seen the shit she went through.
She was an artist.
Yeah, my sister was an artist. You feel me? Like
R&B or just gospel.
R&B, but she sung. We went to different, like we used to go to different little churches and shit. Like I played the drums for her. Oh, so we'll go to different little churches and like my sister was like kind of known back then. Like shit was crazy. I'm like, what the fuck? Like we would be somewhere and like little kids that want to take pictures. I'm like, what the hell? Like shit crazy. Like now that's my life. Like, but I never thought that I'd be doing the same shit. Like I was cool with being in the background. Like I don't really care for the attention. Like ain't even why I do music. Like I don't care for that shit.
I saw actually in the video you sent me, you were saying that you make music for yourself, not for everybody.
Facts.
Yeah, and I feel you 100% on that because I mean, like at the end of the day, your art is your art. You know what I'm saying?
Right, and it's personal.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like shit. That's like me going to therapy or something. I go in there to talk to them. Like I don't write nothing. Like that shit just it's all real natural feelings. Like. Just go in there and just speak what's on my mind. But it took a lot for me to get to where I'm at now. Like, and doing it so confidently, like, just getting in there and just saying whatever the first shit literally that come to my head.
I mean, do you feel like you have to compromise between giving what the people want and making the shit that you want? Because, I mean, a lot of artists go through that.
For sure. For sure you do. But at the same time, you can't please everybody. Like, at the end of the day, you gotta just do what make you feel good. Like doing that, if you saying what you saying and you like the way you saying it and it feel good, because it's really based off all on how you feel. It's feelings and vibrations and shit like that. So if it feel good and like it feel good.
I mean, do you feel like you have to be like in a certain space to go record? You know what I'm saying? Like do you gotta be loaded? I know some people gotta be loaded, they gotta be drunk. they gotta be off this, they gotta be off
I ain't gonna lie,
that.
I do smoke though. Like, you know, I'm a smoker, so I don't feel like I have to be high, but I'd rather be high.
Yeah, like you just
I don't want to sound like no fiend. Like,
yeah, of course. I mean, it's not, man. I mean, like, you know what I'm saying? If you, it puts you in a more creative space.
Nah,
so
facts.
Facts. Like,
they do. For real.
Shit come to your mind easier when you're not thinking about other shit. You know what I'm saying? So I mean,
I feel like it just helped me lock in a little bit more. I can do it sober. I done did it sober million times, but I feel like it helped me lock in a little bit more.
What's your beat selection like? Like what goes through your mind like when you're going through beats and you're like, okay, this is the one.
I don't know. I guess with certain shit, like, cause I nigga get so many beats, bro. Like, I used to be getting shit off YouTube, and snatching shit out. Like, I stay away from YouTube, man. Like, I don't even. Now I go in there sometime, but like 9 times out of 10, I ain't gonna do shit. I'm probably just listening to the shit, or if I hear some hard shit, I find a nigga Instagram, DM him, boom, we connected personally. But
what's some of your favorite producers to work with? Like, have you worked with anybody locally?
From out here?
Yeah, from New Orleans.
Yeah, I don't think about it. I think I have. I can't think of that fucking. What's the nigga name? Low key, I probably haven't. That's a good question, bro. That's crazy.
Yeah,
I need to tap in. I'm bullshitting.
Yeah, they got a lot of people out here, man.
And I know some producers like Cam Beamer.
Yeah.
Trey Pound. He gonna see me all little pay. I gotta lock in with, bro. We gotta really lock in though. Like on some in person type shit. Like
Malik 95, yeah.
Yeah, that's my dog.
Yeah, he makes some fire shit. I mean, yes, yeah, we gotta start getting New Orleans artists and shit, like from everywhere, just start making more shit together. Cause that's what I was gonna ask you, like, how you feel about the scene currently? Like, why are you stationed down here?
Like, why I came out?
Yeah, like, why are you down here, like, trying to make, especially like make. I know you trying to make it globally too, like making your ways in every, you know.
But like, why am I
in New Orleans doing it?
Cause the situation with my pops, I got kicked out. You know, Ray, that's my manager, that's my cousin, that's family.
Oh, okay.
His wife is my actual cousin. So that's how we related and, you know, shit like that. A lot of folks just think like, oh, this is manager. Like, nah, that's my cousin. But I remember I was accidentally to be my manager when I was still living in New Jersey. Like, I wasn't even out here. I'm hitting the nigga up, like, nigga being dry and shit. Like, I'm like, hey, man, here, Hollywood. Like, but I'm like, nah, I got down here. After I got homeless, after I got kicked out of shit, I saved up some money, moved out here. But actually, my friend, I had money. Like, I was working, I had a whole job, but like, the nigga had helped me get the job at the mall. I was working at Aeropostale. I'm in that folding pants and shit, little shirts and shit. Yeah, then them niggas hired me around the busiest fucking time. Fucking Black Friday and shit. Yeah. That when them niggas go to hire random motherfuckers and shit. Like 8 people. And I got hired with all girls. I was the only nigga.
You was on them?
Hell no, I'm good at girl. I was, you know, I was out of high school. Them hoes was like still 16, 17. I'm like, you know, I ain't paying attention to them. Like, and then on top of that, they in the bush and I'm going through some real shit. Like, I'm bouncing from career to career. I gotta make sure I keep this job. Like, I can't be in here fucking off. And, you know what I'm saying? Like, I really wasn't even talking to nobody. I don't even talk to y'all. I mean, it worked. And like, on top of that, I got hired with 7, 8 other people. So like the manager in there watching motherfuckers, like, you know, they be peeping shit like, oh, okay, you just here for the little spare time. Like the little girls and shit, they really wasn't doing shit. I mean, that bitch real deal busting my ass and doing a little extra shit just to, you know, let brother know, like, hey, like, nigga, I'm working. I need this motherfucker. Like, you feel me? So that's the energy I was putting out, and that's what I was receiving. You feel me? So I was the only nigga they kept. They fired everybody else.
So how long you kept working there for a while, or?
How long I worked there for about? They worked there for about a month. Like a smooth little month.
Got rid of 7 people in less than a month?
Facts.
Shit. Say,
and they only worked for 2 weeks.
At that time?
Yeah, I wasn't really even doing it, like, for real. Like, talking about it, I was writing. Like, I was looking up YouTube beats and writing to them and shit and hoping I would get in the studio and record these motherfuckers, but for the most part, I ain't really had shit for real.
So when do you think?
But that's why I'm in New Orleans. Though.
Yeah. So when did all that change? Like, at what time, like, did you start really getting in the studio and taking shit serious?
2017. That shit was blowing me though, bro. Cause like you move to a whole new area, which I'm used to doing. I hated that shit, but I've been moving my whole life, like. But I'm used to this shit, so it's like whatever. New city, I'm used to this shit, like whatever. I come out here, I'm trying to take the shit serious. I'm DMing engineers and shit that's recording locally, popping artists like type shit. Like I really wasn't nobody. I ain't know a soul. Like I said, I ain't from here, so
Oh shit!
I don't know nobody. Yeah, I really ain't know nobody. Like for real, like I ain't know nobody. Like nobody knew me. So, but shit really started to take a little turn. But I had met a nigga named Dash in La Place or whatever, cause that's where we stay. We stay in La Place. But I met a nigga named Dash or whatever, and he had a studio out there. I got to his shit. Me and my partner went up there. He played me some shit, like, like just to see the little vibe, see what he got cooking up, working on or whatever. Cause he was an artist too, but I ain't know that shit.
You little short dude?
Yeah, bald head with a beard.
Nah, never mind.
He said never mind. But yeah, he playing the shit. Whole time it's him, but I ain't know that shit. He playing the shit hard, a vibe. I'm like, what the fuck? Like the tunes sound good, like everything. Cause I knew what I wanted my shit to sound like. It just I couldn't really explain this shit to the engineer at the time. I ain't really know nothing about the shit for real. I just knew like this don't sound right. Like I go to listen to fucking Future and them shit. They shit don't sound like this. You know what I'm saying? Like if the shit like it just don't sound right. Like you would know it once you hear it, but it's like.
So did you like
build to that shit?
Did you build like a preset? You know what I'm saying? 'Cause I know a lot of artists like they build like a preset sound that they just take with them when they go to the studio. You know what I'm talking about?
I ain't build one.
So you just kind of go in there every time. So most of your shit comes really from your voice.
I'm locked in with the engineer now. My boy Furman. I'm locked in with him now. I've been locked in for like a year and a half. But that's how I was with Dash. He gave me a little sound and shit like with the tone, a little reverb, shit like that. But he was like, he really ain't like have a lot on there, like a lot, like on some Travis Scott type shit. Like it just was like a little tweak, like just a vibe. He just made it a vibe. Like that shit crazy, but yeah, shout out to my nigga Dash for real. Like he a real nigga. Cause at that point, before him, I was already going to different little studios and shit, and that shit was lame. Like shit wasn't coming out how I wanted it. And that shit could be discouraging to the artist. Like that'll make a motherfucker quit that shit. Like if that shit ain't coming out how they wanted to come out, and like you go with different studio singers or different studio singers, that'll make motherfuckers be like, man, fuck this shit. Like you feel me? Like, I almost at that point, like so like I got the dance, and it was just different.
You know what I'm saying? So it had to be like was it a song that just kind of made you feel like, yeah, that's the one that I can do it? You know what I'm saying? Like, was there a song in your career that made you think that?
Oh, like when I did the song,
like,
I heard it back.
That song and you like, yeah, this is him. Like,
yeah, the first song I did by the nigga Dash, the very first song, I'm like, that's crazy. Like nigga, I did a song called OD. I was just playing it earlier. It's called OD or whatever, and I'm doing it whatever. But I recorded different back then. I didn't record hearing myself. I recorded dry. Like I didn't hear nothing as I'm recording. Nothing. I've heard the music, the beat, but I ain't hear my voice. Like now I record, I gotta hear myself. Cause at that point, I feel like I'm guessing. Like I can't hear shit. I don't know what this shit sound like. Like I don't want to be guessing. And that's really what it was. Like now that I'm looking back, I just felt like, fuck, like what this shit gonna sound like when he put to on. Like no, I record my shit on there. Like that way I ain't guessing. I know what it sound like, and I'm doing it. Cause like niggas be like, oh, you still gotta know how to use that shit. Right. Like that shit is a real skill. That's a tool. Like you gotta know how to use that shit.
I mean, like, so when you in the booth, like, are you? I'm trying to think how I wanted to put this. Are you thinking about like what you saying before you say it? You know what I'm saying? Cause you say you don't get in there, you don't write them down.
I punch in.
Okay, so you punch in
I think,
everything?
yeah, for sure. Okay. I punch in. Like I ain't on no Wayne shit.
Yeah.
No, fuck no. That's a different nigga right there.
So how long do your songs usually take?
To make a song?
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess my little process is different. I go in there, hum melodies. I come up with a melody fast. That shit ain't nothing to come up with. You come up with a melody as soon as you hear a beat. like had to be melodies come, do some little melodies with it, but then I just put words to it. So that's really all the shit is.